Stop scrolling, because in the next 10 seconds, you're going to realize a brutal truth most people avoid their entire lives. Freedom isn't free, it's bought. And if you don't have money, you don't have freedom, you have permission. Stop scrolling right now. Because what I'm about to say might challenge everything you've been told your entire life. Money is not just important. Money is everything if you want freedom. And before you get triggered, before you say money can't buy happiness, understand this. This is not about greed. This is about control over your life. Because the harsh truth is, without money, your choices are limited, your time is controlled, and your freedom is just an illusion. And here's the second truth most people are too afraid to admit. The world doesn't reward intentions, it rewards value. And value gets paid. So if you want freedom, real freedom, not the fake motivational kind you see online, then you need to understand the real power of money. Because money is not just paper, it's leverage. It's the ability to say no when you want to say no. It's the ability to walk away from toxic jobs, toxic relationships, and toxic environments without fear. Think about it. How many people stay stuck in jobs they hate, waking up every morning feeling drained, not because they love it, but because they can't afford to leave? That's not a lack of passion, that's a lack of financial power. When you don't have money, every decision feels heavy, every risk feels dangerous, and every dream feels distant. But when you have money, suddenly the game changes. You don't just survive, you start playing to win. Money buys you time, and time is the real currency of life. Because once you control your time, you control your life. You can wake up when you want, work on what you want, build what you want, and most importantly, become who you want. And that's the kind of freedom people crave, but rarely achieve. Now let's get real for a second. Society has conditioned people to feel guilty about wanting money. They say, don't chase money, chase passion. But what they don't tell you is this. Passion without money often turns into frustration, because passion doesn't pay your bills, passion doesn't eliminate stress, and passion doesn't give your family security unless you learn how to monetize it. And that's where most people fail. They romanticize struggle instead of building strategy. They stay comfortable being broke instead of being uncomfortable while growing. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Money amplifies who you already are. If you're disciplined, money will give you more opportunities. If you're lazy, money will expose it. If you're smart, money will multiply your impact. And if you're careless, money will disappear just as fast as it came. So the goal is not just to make money. The goal is to become the kind of person who can handle money. Because freedom is not given, it's built. And it's built through skills, through mindset, and through consistent action. You don't accidentally become financially free. You design it, you plan it, you execute it, and most importantly, you stay patient with it. Because let's be honest, everyone wants to be rich, but very few are willing to do what it takes. They want quick results, overnight success, instant gratification. But real money, real freedom, comes from long-term thinking, from building assets instead of chasing liabilities, from investing instead of consuming, from creating value instead of just working for a paycheck. And this is where the shift happens. The moment you stop trading time for money and start building systems that make money for you, that's when you start stepping into real freedom. Whether it's business, investing, content creation, or digital assets, the path doesn't matter as much as the principle. Create something that works even when you don't. Because if you always have to work for money, you're not free, you're just well paid. And there's a huge difference between being rich and being free. Rich people can still be trapped, but financially free people have options. And options are power. The power to choose your lifestyle, your environment, your circle, and your future. Now let's talk about confidence, because this is something nobody explains properly. Money builds a different level of confidence. Not fake confidence, not social media confidence, but real, grounded confidence. The kind that comes from knowing you can handle problems, knowing you can take risks, knowing you can survive setbacks. Because when you have money, failure doesn't feel like the end, it feels like a lesson. And that mindset alone separates winners from everyone else. So if you're sitting there thinking, I want freedom. Understand this clearly. Freedom is expensive, not just financially, but mentally. It requires discipline when others are distracted, focus when others are comfortable, and consistency when others quit. You have to be willing to delay gratification, to sacrifice short-term pleasure for long-term gain. And yes, it's hard. But staying broke is also hard. Staying stuck is also hard. Living a life where you can't do what you want, when you want, is also hard. So the question is not, is it hard? The question is, which hard do you choose? Because at the end of the day, money is not everything in terms of happiness, relationships, or purpose. But if you want freedom, if you want control, if you want to live life on your own terms, then money becomes everything, not as a goal, but as a tool, a powerful tool that gives you the life most people only dream about. So stop avoiding it, stop fearing it, and start understanding it. Learn how it works, learn how to earn it, learn how to grow it, and most importantly, learn how to keep it. Because the moment you master money, you stop being controlled by the world, and you start controlling your own life. And that's the ultimate freedom everyone is chasing, whether they realize it or not.